All right, buckle up, because we're diving deep into Think and Grow Rich, a book that's practically a legend.
It is, yeah.
And, it's been called life-changing, which I get, but it can also get a bit, how do I put this, mystical at times.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's this really interesting blend of personal stories and real-world examples.
Right.
But then it throws in this advice that almost feels like magic sometimes.
Exactly. So in this deep dive, we're going on a treasure hunt of sorts. We're going to try to unearth the core principles of this book, things like desire, faith, persistence, and see how they all supposedly work together to not just attract wealth, but a rich life. And by rich, I don't just mean money.
Right.
I'm talking about experiences, relationships, the whole shebang. Are you ready to get rich with us?
Let's do it. The book really starts off strong with this idea that desire is the starting point of all achievement. Not just wishing or hoping, but like a burning, driving force that fuels you to take action.
Okay, I can already hear some people rolling their eyes, right? Like, I just want something bad enough and it'll magically happen. But Think and Grow Rich doesn't stop there, does it?
No, not at all. The book tells this story about Edwin Barnes. Now, this guy was absolutely determined to work with Thomas Edison, not for him, with him.
Wow.
He had this intense desire that just wouldn't quit.
So what did he do? Did he just, sit around and daydream about working with Edison?
Not even close. He hopped on a freight train, no money, no connections, just this burning desire. Ended up working as a sweeper in Edison's lab.
No kidding.
Just to be in the right environment.
Talk about taking a leap of faith. That reminds me of that story in the book about the Chicago merchant.
Oh, yeah.
Who lost his store to a fire, multiple times. Each time he rebuilt it, vowing to make it the greatest store in the world.
Both those stories really highlight something important. It's not enough to simply wish for something.
Right.
You have to be willing to kind of burn your bridges and put yourself out there.
Take act.
Even when it seems a little crazy to everyone else.
Yeah. So it's this relentless pursuit, even when things get tough, that really starts to set the stage for success.
Exactly. The book uses Henry Ford as an example. His desire wasn't vague. He wanted a horseless carriage. He didn't wait for the opportunity. He created it.
So if we apply that to, our own lives, it's about being super clear about what we want and then figuring out how to make it happen, right?
Exactly. Now, here's where things get interesting. The book introduces faith as the key ingredient that brings desire to life.
Oh, this is where it ventures into that mystical territory I mentioned.
It does a bit.
Yeah.
And to illustrate this, it uses a very personal story about the author's son, who was born deaf.
Right.
Despite what doctors said, the author instilled in his son this burning desire to hear and to speak.
Wow.
And he combined that desire with unshakable faith and this persistent communication.
Almost like he was willing his son's hearing back into existence.
Kind of, yeah. It's about this deep belief that what you desire is actually possible. Then the book goes into this concept of autosuggestion.
Okay.
The idea that you can influence your reality by repeatedly feeding your mind a certain thought or belief.
Well, wait, hold on. We're not talking about just, positive thinking here, right?
No, it's much deeper than that.
Like slapping on a fake smile.
It's about programming your subconscious.
Got it.
Almost like you're planting a seed.
Okay.
You nurture it with the idea, the belief, and then it eventually takes root.
Okay, so I'm seeing how desire and faith connect here. It's like you have this burning desire, and then faith is the fuel that keeps it going.
Yeah.
Even when things get tough, even when logic says it's impossible.
You got it. It's aligning those conscious desires with this deep subconscious belief that they can be achieved.
This is pretty fascinating stuff, but it also makes me a little uneasy. What happens if you start believing in things that aren't true, or even things that are harmful? Remember that story about the bank official?
You mean the one who basically mentally committed suicide?
Yeah, exactly. That's a chilling story, and it makes me wonder about the responsibility that comes with this power of autosuggestion.
Absolutely. The book emphasizes that faith isn't blind belief.
Okay.
It's not about ignoring facts or denying reality.
Yeah.
It's about understanding the principles at play and having the confidence to apply them.
I see.
And then actually acting in a way that aligns with your desires and beliefs.
So you're not just sitting back waiting for the universe to do its thing.
No.
You have to be actively involved.
Exactly. And that leads us to the third key principle, persistence. The book argues that this is the power that sustains you and helps you overcome obstacles.
When you think about it, almost every successful person throughout history has had that, this refusal to give up, even when things get really rough.
It's essential. Think about R.U. Darby. The guy who stopped digging for gold just 3 feet away from striking it rich.
He gave up right before hitting the jackpot. What happened?
He got discouraged, sold all his equipment, and walked away. Later, he found success selling life insurance. And he actually said that his success was because of what he learned from mining.
So even though he failed, the experience taught him the importance of persistence.
Exactly. He learned that giving up too soon can cost you big time. But there's more to it than just pushing forward no matter what.
Okay.
Persistence is about having a definite purpose, a clear vision of what you're striving for.
That fuels your drive.
Exactly. It's like the Great Depression, for example. It started to fade when people shifted from fear back to faith.
Okay.
Back into believing that things could get better. They rediscovered their purpose.
I see. When you have that why, the how becomes easier.
Yeah.
And those setbacks, they feel more like detours instead of dead ends.
Right. Another great example is Henry Ford. His engineers told him creating a V8 engine was impossible.
Wow.
But he wouldn't budge. His persistence, fueled by his vision, finally led to that breakthrough.
So it's about that unshakable faith in your vision, even when others doubt it.
Mm-hmm.
Combine that with consistent action, adapting and learning as you go.
It's a powerful combo, and it sets the stage for the next big concept, the mastermind.
Ooh, tell me more about that. This one really intrigues me.
So the mastermind is the idea that power gets amplified when minds come together,
Okay.
working in harmony towards a common goal.
So it's more than just networking, right?
Yeah, it's deeper than that.
It's like the synergy.
It's about aligning your energy with people who share your vision and your values.
Got it.
The book uses Henry Ford. Again, he had this amazing group of minds around him. Edison, Firestone, Burroughs, Burbank.
Yeah.
Ford's success wasn't just his brilliance, it was also the collective intelligence of that mastermind group.
I can see how that would be a game changer.
Yeah.
It's like having advisors, cheerleaders, and accountability partners all in one.
Exactly. Harnessing collective wisdom, support, and inspiration. The book even suggests you can make an imaginary cabinet of great minds to learn from,
Oh, interesting.
even if you can't actually collaborate with them.
Like a mental mastermind group, drawing inspiration from people you admire.
Exactly. It's tapping into that shared energy and intention. The book calls this the psychic phase.
Okay, this is where I need a little grounding. Psychic phase sounds pretty out there, even for me.
Think of it like this. When a team clicks, ideas flow, creativity sparks, solutions pop up that wouldn't have happened individually.
Yeah.
It's that energy, that synergy when minds connect on a deeper level.
It's like when you're brainstorming and suddenly, bam, the solution just appears.
Exactly. Tapping into that collective energy and aiming it at your shared goals.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. Desire, faith, persistence, the mastermind. It feels like these principles are all like interwoven.
Absolutely. They build on each other, creating a powerful framework for achieving success in any area of life.
So what does all this mean for us? Like, where do we even begin to apply these principles in our own lives?
That's what we're going to explore in the next part of our deep dive.
We're going to get down to the nitty-gritty, how to turn these big ideas into actions we can actually take. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Think and Grow Rich. It's becoming clear that this book isn't just about, financial wealth.
Yeah.
It's about enriching every single part of your life.
Right, unlocking your potential. And we've just scratched the surface with desire, faith, persistence, the mastermind. But like, how do we actually put those into practice? It's like we've been handed this amazing treasure map, but we still need to figure out how to read it.
That's a great way to put it. And luckily, the book does offer some pretty specific strategies.
Okay, good.
One of the first things it emphasizes is having a definite chief aim. Have you ever really sat down and thought about what you want to achieve in life?
I mean, I've set goals before,
Sure.
but the book takes it further, right? It's not just a vague idea. It's more like a mission statement for your life.
Exactly. It's about being crystal clear on what you want and writing it down. It even suggests reviewing it every day, like a mantra.
I can see how that would be powerful. Constantly reminding yourself of where you're headed.
Like programming your internal GPS. It reminds me of that story in the book about the young man applying for a job as a private secretary.
Oh, yeah.
His mother was determined to help him succeed, so she did something pretty incredible.
She created that plan book, right?
Yes.
The one outlining his qualifications, experience, even suggestions for the company.
It was so detailed.
Wow.
Really showed off his potential.
It was like early personal branding. It showed his skills, his initiative.
Exactly. Bold move, but it worked. He got the job thanks to his mother's planning and support.
It highlights the power of preparation
Mm-hmm.
and having that vision.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the actual knowledge and skills to get there? The book talks a lot about specialized knowledge.
It does. It argues that general knowledge just isn't enough for real success.
Okay.
You need expertise in a specific area that aligns with your definite chief aim.
So not just a jack of all trades, but mastering one.
Precisely.
Hmm.
But the good news is the book says specialized knowledge is more accessible than you might think. Okay.
You can get it through education, mentorships, self-directed learning.
It reminds me of Stuart Austin Weir, salesman in his 40s who decided to become a lawyer.
Oh, yeah.
A complete reinvention.
Great example. He had a family, limited resources, but he combined specialized courses and self-study. It shows that age and circumstances aren't barriers if you're truly committed.
It is inspiring. It shows that if you have that burning desire, you'll find a way.
Absolutely. And that brings us to another key principle, imagination.
Okay, I can already sense some skepticism.
Sure.
How can imagining something make it real? Isn't that just wishful thinking?
Not exactly. It's about using your imagination strategically. The book talks about two types, synthetic and creative.
Okay, break those down for me.
So synthetic imagination is about rearranging existing ideas, while creative imagination taps into a deeper source, allowing you to come up with totally new ideas.
Like rearranging furniture versus designing a whole new house. Perfect analogy. And the book says both are essential for success. Use your imagination to develop plans, visualize outcomes, even see yourself achieving those goals.
Like the story of the enchanted kettle.
Yes.
The young man didn't just buy a kettle and a recipe, he bought an idea.
Yeah.
His imagination turned it into a successful business.
Exactly. Imagination can transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. The book has so many stories like that, like Dr. Frank Gonzalez.
Oh, right, the what I would do if I had $1 million sermon.
Yes. He used his imagination to raise $1 million to build his dream college.
Amazing.
It's powerful. Our imagination is key to unlocking potential. It helps us bridge the gap between where we are and where we want to be.
So think big, dream boldly, use your mind to create your future.
Exactly. And speaking of things that can hold us back, the book talks about fear.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
The 6 ghosts of fear: poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, death.
These fears, even if they're hidden in our subconscious, they can really affect our thoughts and actions.
They can paralyze you.
Yes, prevent you from going after your dreams.
You know, I always thought fear was something to avoid or conquer. But Think and Grow Rich seems to have a different approach.
It does. Instead of ignoring or suppressing fear, it says we should understand it, examine its roots, and learn how to manage it.
So acknowledge it and develop strategies, instead of pretending it's not there.
Exactly. For example, the book says the fear of poverty is deeply rooted in our evolution.
Really?
It comes from that instinct to, protect ourselves economically.
That's a bit unsettling.
It is,
Yeah.
and the book argues that this fear can show up in different ways, like how we view money or how willing we are to take risks.
So constantly worrying about not having enough could actually prevent us from attracting abundance.
It's a possibility. And it's not just about money. It's a scarcity mindset that can affect everything.
It makes me think of the fear of criticism, which the book also digs into. That fear can be so crippling, holding us back from expressing ourselves.
Absolutely. It often stems from childhood experiences, maybe being judged or ridiculed.
So those early experiences shape our self-worth and our willingness to put ourselves out there.
They can. And the book encourages us to become aware of those fears and choose to overcome them.
So it's about reclaiming our power,
Yes.
recognizing that what others think matters less than our own self-belief.
Exactly. Shifting from external validation to internal validation.
Now, what about the fear of ill health? That one seems like it could easily become a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Absolutely. The book highlights the connection between our thoughts and our physical well-being.
Okay.
There's evidence that fear and negativity can contribute to illness.
Our thoughts can actually manifest in our bodies.
They can. That's why the book emphasizes positive thinking, stress management,
Yeah.
focusing on both mental and physical health.
It reminds me of the placebo effect. People believe they're getting a treatment, even if it's fake, and they actually improve.
It shows how powerful our beliefs are. And the book suggests we can use this power for healing and well-being.
It's amazing, but also a bit daunting, right?
Definitely.
If our thoughts are that powerful, We have a huge responsibility for our own health.
Absolutely. We're not just passengers. We have the power to influence our reality.
Okay, the fear of loss of love.
Yeah.
That's something I think everyone can relate to.
It's primal. It can come from insecurity, past rejections, societal pressures.
It's like we're constantly looking for approval from outside instead of finding it within ourselves.
Exactly. The book says true love starts with self-love, recognizing our own completeness, that love should enhance, not define us.
That's a really important message.
It is.
It's about inner security,
Yep.
so we can approach relationships from a place of strength.
No, the fear of old age.
Yeah.
This one can really steal our joy, keep us from living in the present.
It's often tied to fear of declining health, financial worries, or even just how society views aging.
It's like we're programmed to dread getting older instead of embracing it.
But Think and Grow Rich challenges that, doesn't it?
It does. It encourages us to see aging as growth and wisdom.
Yeah.
Life can be just as fulfilling, maybe even more so, in our later years.
So focus on health, passions, keep learning and growing.
Embrace the journey, not fear the destination.
And then the fear of death. Probably the most universal fear of all.
It is. It can come from fear of the unknown, leaving loved ones behind, unresolved issues.
Yeah.
It's complex. The book takes a philosophical approach, reminding us that death is part of life. Our energy will continue in some form even after our physical bodies are gone.
That's a comforting thought.
It is. It's not an ending, but a transition. The book tells us to live fully, make a positive impact, leave a legacy.
So find meaning and purpose, knowing our actions have a lasting impact.
Exactly. Embrace life with courage and gratitude. Appreciate each moment.
Okay, so those are the 6 basic fears that can hold us back. What can we actually do about them?
Well, that's what we'll explore in the next part of our deep dive. We'll look at the strategies from Think and Grow Rich to confront and manage these fears.
I'm really looking forward to that. It feels like we're getting closer to understanding how to actually use this book in our own lives.
We are. It's an exciting journey. Stay with us for the final part of our deep dive, where we'll get even more practical
Yeah.
and discover those actionable takeaways from Think and Grow Rich.
Okay, welcome back to the deep dive. We've covered some heavy stuff, right?
We have.
Desire, faith, persistence, the mastermind, and even facing those 6 ghosts of fear. But Think and Grow Rich doesn't just leave you hanging with all that, right?
Right.
It gives you ways to actually use these ideas.
It does. It's like it hands you this incredible toolbox and then shows you how to use each tool.
So what kind of tools are we talking about here? How do we actually tackle those fears?
Well, one of the most powerful tools, according to the book, is decision. Sounds simple, but it's really profound.
Okay.
Have you ever noticed how much energy gets wasted when you're just stuck in indecision?
Oh, totally. It's like this mental tug of war.
Yeah.
Second-guessing yourself constantly. It's exhausting.
It is. And the book says indecision is like a breeding ground for fear and doubt. It can totally paralyze you.
So the solution is making clear decisions, even if they're a little scary.
Exactly. Take charge, make a plan, and move forward with confidence.
Okay, that makes sense for big life decisions, but what about those everyday choices?
It applies to those too. Every decision, no matter how small, is a chance to practice choosing.
It's like exercising your decision-making muscle.
That's a great way to put it.
The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
Exactly. Now, the book also delves into this really fascinating world, the subconscious mind.
Right. It stresses understanding how it works
Yeah.
because it's such a powerful force in our lives.
Our subconscious minds are super receptive to suggestions, especially ones with strong emotions attached.
That makes me think about all the times I get caught up in negative self-talk,
Oh, yeah.
replaying those worst-case scenarios over and over.
We've all been there. But the good news is we can use this to our advantage.
How? By feeding our subconscious mind positive thoughts instead.
Exactly. Be mindful of the messages you're sending yourself, both consciously and unconsciously.
So if we want to achieve our goals,
Yeah,
overcome those fears, we need to be intentional about the thoughts and beliefs we're cultivating.
exactly. That's where autosuggestion comes in.
Right. Remind me how that works again. It's about, like, consciously programming your subconscious mind.
Yeah, it's the process of repeatedly impressing a thought or belief on your subconscious until it accepts it as truth.
It's like brainwashing yourself, but in a good way.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
It's using repetition and emotion to shift your beliefs and align your subconscious with what you want.
So how do we actually use autosuggestion?
The book suggests things like writing down your goals and desires, visualizing achieving them, and creating affirmations that you repeat to yourself.
It's about consistency, right?
Yeah, making it a regular practice.
Not just a one-time thing.
Exactly. And remember, autosuggestion isn't about denying reality. It's about focusing on positive, empowering thoughts that'll help you overcome challenges and achieve your goals.
Like choosing to see the glass half full, even when things are rough.
That's a great way to put it. It's about shifting your perspective, focusing on possibilities.
Now, the book also talks about going the extra mile in everything you do.
Yes,
So it's not just about doing the bare minimum.
it's about exceeding expectations,
Mhm.
taking initiative, being proactive, always delivering more value.
Under-promise and over-deliver.
Exactly. Set a high standard and then surpass it.
The book also talks about having a pleasing personality.
It does.
I know that can sound a bit superficial at first,
Sure.
but it's more than just being charming,
It is. It's about genuine connections, making a positive impression.
right? Building relationships.
Exactly. Qualities like enthusiasm, sincerity, a genuine interest in others.
It's not about faking it.
No.
It's about developing those qualities authentically.
Exactly. Be your best self, and that'll attract the right people and opportunities.
Something else that really resonated with me was the emphasis on organized planning. It's not enough to just have a goal.
You need a plan.
You need a structured plan.
Absolutely. Break those big goals down into smaller steps.
Yeah.
Create a roadmap, have a system to track progress, and make adjustments.
It's like having a blueprint for your life.
That's a great way to think about it. The book even gives instructions for creating a brief.
Oh, right.
Basically, a personal marketing plan outlining your skills and experience.
Showcasing your value.
Exactly. A strategic approach to your career, your life.
Now, the book also talks a lot about decision-making. Being able to make quick, confident decisions.
It's crucial. Indecision can be crippling.
Think about the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
Wow, yeah.
Those guys faced huge risks, but they made a decision and they stuck to it.
Courage and conviction. No waffling, no second guessing.
So it's about trusting your gut, doing your research, and then taking action.
Exactly. And speaking of things that hold us back, procrastination, we all struggle with it sometimes.
Oh, yeah. It's like that little voice saying, do it later.
But Think and Grow Rich goes deeper than just saying, stop procrastinating.
So what's the book's take on it?
It says procrastination is often rooted in fear. It's a way of avoiding challenges or possible failures.
That makes sense. We put things off because we're scared of what might happen.
Exactly. And the book says we need to recognize this in ourselves and come up with strategies to overcome it.
So what strategies does it suggest?
Things like setting deadlines, breaking tasks down into smaller chunks, rewarding yourself for progress,
Right.
creating urgency and momentum.
Tricking your brain into action.
Exactly. It's about building that discipline, just like with decision making.
You know, as we wrap up our deep dive into Think and Grow Rich, I think it's important to remember that this book is about so much more than just money.
You're right.
It's about using the power of your mind to achieve success in all areas of life.
It is. It's about the right mindset, positive habits, taking consistent action
It's understanding you have the power to create your own destiny.
to overcome challenges and achieve your dreams.
And that message is just as relevant today as it was back then.
Absolutely.
So if there's one thing you hope listeners take away from this, what would it be?
For me, it's that we are all capable of achieving great things. These principles aren't just for a select few.
Yeah.
They're for anyone willing to learn and apply them.
I totally agree. It's realizing you have the power to create a truly rich life.
So remember what we've discussed. Embrace desire, faith, persistence, cultivate a positive mindset, take action, and never stop believing in yourself.
And if you haven't already, grab a copy of Think and Grow Rich. It's a book that can truly change your life if you let it. Until next time, keep thinking, keep growing, and keep reaching for the stars.